Okay students, today we are going to start a new chapter of ICSE class 10 biology. The chapter is circulatory system. So this is the part 1 of this chapter. This chapter is divided into total 6 parts. So in this part we will study the introduction of this chapter. So let's start. So before starting circulatory system, we need to know what is being circulated in our body. Okay, so that is blood. Blood is a connective tissue. Why we are calling it as connective tissue? Because it connects different organs and different systems. So blood is a connective tissue which is circulated throughout our body. Okay, so we need to study about this. So it is contained in the arteries, veins and capillaries. So arteries, veins and capillaries are the different kinds of blood vessels through which the blood is carried out through our body, okay, or is supplied to different parts of the body. Blood transport oxygen, digested food, hormones, etc. So these are some functions of the blood that you need to remember. Is that blood transport oxygen, the main function is the transport of oxygen, digested food, hormones, etc. And blood also forms a clot. We will study about this in a different part, that what is meant by clot. Clot happens whenever there is a cut in a blood vessels. Okay, so whenever we get an injury, so at that time blood forms a clot, which is by a process called blood clotting. So what is the composition of the blood? Blood consists, if we will divide blood into two parts, the liquid part is called the plasma, okay, which is 55 to 60% of the blood. It is fluid part, we call it as plasma. And there are certain elements, cellular elements, which are RBCs, WBCs. RBC means red blood cells, WBC white blood cells, and platelets. Okay, so these are certain elements which are found in the blood, and they comprise up to 40 to 45% of the blood. Now these cellular elements we will study. The first is RBC. RBC is called red blood cell and is also called erythrocyte. Okay, you need to remember this, that it is also called erythrocyte. So first, the structure. RBCs are minute, and sometimes you will see that in the book it is written corpuscles. Okay, we call it as red blood corpuscles. Corpuscles is a kind of cell which remain suspended in a medium. Okay, like RBCs are those cells which flows or float, you can say, which float in the fluid part. So that's why they are called corpuscles, and they are very small as compared to the normal cells. So they are minute, biconcave. Biconcave, here this is a structure of RBC, if you will see. Biconcave, they are from the upper part also they are concave, and from below also they are concave, and they are disc like. So this is the structure of RBC. They are generally produced in the red bone marrow. Okay, bone marrow is a spongy tissue which are found in inside the bones. Okay, and red bone marrow are generally found in long bones, like in case of hip or in case of breast bone. Okay, and in the red bone marrow only these RBCs are produced. The lifespan of RBC is 120 days, and it contains a respiratory pigment. Why we are calling it as respiratory pigment? Because this is responsible for you can say this is responsible for combining with oxygen, so that RBC can carry that oxygen from one place to another. Okay, this particular pigment, and it also gives the red color to the blood. Okay, so hemoglobin, when combines with oxygen, it forms oxyhemoglobin, okay, which is an unstable compound, you can say. And as soon as it combines with oxygen to form oxyhemoglobin, which is unstable, it immediately release that oxygen to the tissues, okay, which is required if required by the tissue. So that tissue will get the oxygen, And if hemoglobin combines with carbon dioxide, sometimes it combines with carbon dioxide to form carbaminohemoglobin. Now this is the important part. Our hemoglobin combines with carbon monoxide to form a compound called carboxyhemoglobin. Okay, this is very dangerous. Why? Because if carboxyhemoglobin is formed, then the oxygen supply will be cut down. Okay, this particular compound, it cut down the oxygen supply to our body, as a result of which there will be death. Okay, now there is one thing that you need to remember. RBCs are very efficient. Why? Because RBCs do not have nucleus. Now what is the reason for not having nucleus? Because RBCs have to carry oxygen from one place to another, so as to accommodate more oxygen. Okay, large amount of oxygen, or you can say to increase the surface area, there is no nucleus present. Okay, next is no mitochondria. We know that the function of mitochondria is to what? Is in cellular respiration, to provide energy to the energy. So if there will be mitochondria in the RBC, then what will happen? These mitochondria will utilize that oxygen for itself to produce energy. Okay, as a result of which that particular oxygen will not be able to be transported to another place. That's why RBCs do not have any mitochondria. And the third is no endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, RBCs do not have endoplasmic reticulum, as a result of which it has an increase in flexibility. Okay, RBCs have to move through narrow capillaries, means narrow blood vessels. So in order to gain flexibility, these RBCs do not have endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so these are the three reasons why the RBCs are efficient. Now the next cellular element is the WBCs. WBCs are also called leukocytes. Okay, and white blood cells. So the structure of WBC is amoeboid. They have nucleus but no hemoglobin. Okay, they do not have hemoglobin. Now these two things you need to remember, these are very important. WBCs perform a function which is called diapedesis. Diapedesis is the oozing out of WBC from the blood vessels. Let us suppose, take an example, this is a blood vessel, okay, and this is a WBC. Now the main function of WBC is to engulf any foreign substance or any bacteria which is present in our body. So if, let us suppose, this is a foreign substance or a bacteria which is outside the blood vessel, now this WBC will try to move out of this blood vessel. As you can see here, this process of moving out of WBC from the blood vessel is called diapedesis. Okay, and then after diapedesis, what it will do? It will do another process which is called phagocytosis. Now phagocytosis is the engulfing of solid substances, bacteria, by WBCs. Now these WBC will engulf this particular substance and will destroy it. Okay, so here you can see this is the bacterium and this is the WBC. It will engulf this bacteria and it will destroy it. Okay, now the lifespan of WBC is 2 weeks and they are also produced in the red bone marrow and lymph nodes. Now these are the categories of WBC. First, see, WBCs are divided into 2 categories. Okay, the first one is granular. Granular means the presence of granules. As you can see here, in this case or in this case, you can see there are small granules present in the cell. Okay, so these are called granular. And the second one is agranular. Okay, means here you can see there are no granules. So these are the 2 categories. Now this granular is divided into 3 parts: eosinophil, basophil and neutrophil. Okay, these 3. They come under the category of granular. First, let's see some characteristics. Eosinophil, in case of eosinophil, you will see that the nucleus are two-lobed. The function of this eosinophil is to engulf bacteria. Okay. Now in case of basophil also, the nucleus are divided into lobes. It is not separated, but they are in the form of lobes. The function of basophil is to release some chemicals. Okay, it releases some chemicals called histamine, which dilate the blood vessels. Okay. In case of neutrophils, the nucleus are 3-lobed or 4-lobed, and their function also is to engulf bacteria. All these are formed in the bone marrow. Now let us see agranular. Agranular are divided into two categories, monocyte and lymphocyte. The function of monocyte is to ingest germs, same, they also engulf some foreign substances. And the function of lymphocyte is to produce antibodies. Okay, antibodies are produced by WBC in response to some foreign substance. If any foreign substance comes into our body, then WBC will produce antibodies. That particular antibody will destroy, or you can say neutralize, the effect of that particular toxin, or you can say substance, the foreign substance. Antibody also acts as an antitoxin, which is in response to any toxic substance which enters into our body. Okay, so we have seen the cellular elements which are present in our blood, that is RBC and WBC. The last is platelets. Okay, platelets are irregular shaped, colorless and non-nucleated structures, and they help in blood clotting. Okay, you can see the structure of platelets here. Okay, so we have completed the first part of this chapter. In the next part, we will start with the blood clotting. So thank you for watching. We will meet in the next part.